You could spend 6 hours grinding on a task and thinking you are making progress, thinking you are busy, but someone else solves the same problem in just 2 hours. So what really makes the difference? What actually drives productivity as a programmer or a software engineer? I took my time to dig deep. I went through top engineers and senior devs. I went through what they had to say about how they work smarter and not just harder. And if you're a software engineer, and especially if you're just starting out in tech, I know for sure you want to get better and more faster with your works. So in the next few minutes, I'll be breaking down exactly how these developers get productive without burning out. Hi, my name is Adekola Adelano and I'm a software engineer. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. On this channel, I talk about software development and productivity. Let's get into the first one. Track your time. Most developers feel like they are not productive enough, but most of the time it is not true. You might be way more productive than you think, but you won't know until you actually measure it. Use a time tracker to see where your hours really go. Never rush to code. I defaulted a lot when starting out in tech. On my first ever contract I worked on, I was so anxious. I was happy at the same time. I rushed to the code and I spent some time having to refactor, debug, and do many cleanups. Don't rush to code. Take your time, understand the code, write out your plan, document your process, write out the entire thinking. Else, you would have to come back to start refactoring, start debugging. There's no how you want to do it. You will still have to come back to debug, clean up, and do a lot of time wasting things you could have dealt with from the start. So after my second job as a front-end developer back then, senior developers taught me how to plan first. Anytime they give me a job, I jump right into it, start code. But then Steven came and said, no, really. Plan it in your head. Writing it out actually takes time. Avoid the golden hammer. Don't use the same tool for every single problem. Just because you know React does not mean everything needs to be a React solution. Just because you are comfortable with Python doesn't mean every script should be Python. There is no one way to do something. Learn to formulate your options, weigh the pros and the cons, and pick what actually works for that specific situation. Read documentations. This sounds obvious, but most of us skip it. Let us learn to read documentations. I defaulted a lot when starting out and I paid daily for it because I spent hours watching video, whereas I could simply just go to the official documentations. We get new tools, new frameworks and libraries, and we immediately start trying to figure out things on our own. But here is the major truth. You can save yourself hours of debugging by spending 10 minutes reading documentations. It is usually more reliable and up to date than any YouTube random tutorial. Focus your learning. Don't try to learn everything. It's a complete waste of time trying to learn everything. Learn the fundamentals, then maybe 1 or 2 languages and frameworks. Don't jump on every new bandwagon. Ignore the facts and the hype. Specialize. Life is too short to be mediocre at a dozen of things when you could be excellent at a few. Build side projects. Side projects are the best way to learn technology. You can read documentations all day, you can watch tutorials all day long, but nothing beats actually building something with your own hands. They build your portfolio and sometimes they even generate extra income. Use buffer time. Always add buffer time to your estimates. Find your personal velocity first. Track how long the particular task will actually take you. Then when someone asks for an estimate, add a buffer. If you know something takes 3 hours, estimate 4. You're not being dishonest. You're being realistic about unexpected bugs and general unpredictable nature of development. Automate everything. You find yourself doing something more than twice, automate it. There should not be argument about that. When I started out in tech, I was working on a Django project and I noticed that every time I pull from the main branch, there's a bug I have to research and fix. I fixed the bug the first time, the second time, and the third time. And I saw that it's becoming a recurrent issue. Try fixing it for the company, but the senior dev, I don't know what's up with him there. I just had to automate my debugging process. So every time I pull from the main branch, I have a list of instructions to give to my CLI. Same thing also happened recently when I was working on an Angular project, and I noticed that there's something I make use of almost every now and then when I work with it. All I did was to just automate it. It saved me hours and minutes of having to type the code again. Here's a good benchmark. You should be using regular expressions in your code editor at least once per day. If you are not, you're probably doing repetitive work. Work in deep focus blocks. Most developers think they are working when they actually context switching between tasks. Instead, batch similar tasks together. Spend 2 hours purely on coding, 30 minutes purely on emails, and then 1 hour purely on debugging. Deep work beats scattered work every single time, so you can't afford to be everywhere. Invest in your workspace. Don't cheap out on tools that help you do your best work. But of course, for beginners, if you are just starting out, all you need is your table, your chair, and your laptop. As you grow, you want something that helps you become more productive. If you stay around a noisy area, you might want to get your headphone, maybe an ergonomic chair, a standing desk, And these really are not luxuries. They are all investments into your productivity. So just like I said, you work in a noisy environment and you find it hard to concentrate. The headphones you bought will pay for themselves in improved focus within a week. Recognize burnouts early. Learn to identify when you're burnout. Stop working for the day. Take a nap, go for a walk, whatever it takes. If you don't, you are just wasting time and possibly creating problems for tomorrow. Burnout is not a badge of honor. It is a productivity killer. Take strategic breaks. Even if you work 12 hours a day, you are probably only truly productive for around 3 hours. Sometimes what you really need is 4 hours of deep work with regular breaks. So take a short break after working for about 45 to 60 minutes. Your brain needs to rest, it needs time to recharge, and you need to respect that. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, especially if you are just starting out. Don't be scared to tell them you don't understand. Your solutions won't be as elegant as someone with 20 years of experience. That's completely okay. Accept that. It's always worth doing something badly, provided you are learning and growing while you do it. Bugs will happen. They don't define your worth. Own them, analyze them, learn from them, and move on. Track your wins. This is one psychological aspect of this video that actually don't joke with. Keep a record of what you accomplish each day. Go through your to-do list. Check out the list of things you plan to do that day. Go through them one after the other. This may actually sound simple, but it's powerful. Write down what you completed before going to bed. And after a few months of data, you'll see patterns. Then you get to know what gives you energy and what drains it. That will be your motivation. Other tips that I won't want to dwell on, I'll just list them. Review your commits before you send them. Understand your command line, even though it might look scary at first, but it really aids productivity. Learn to write readable codes and build soft skills. All I've listed are battle-tested strategies that separate productive developers from the ones who just look busy. The key is to start small, pick one or two that resonates with you, and implement them. You don't need to change everything at once. You just only need to start with one. Which of these listed tips hits you hard? Which one are you going to work on? Let me know in the comment section. I actually read them. And if this helped you work smarter instead of just harder, smash that like button. Subscribe for more real world development insights. And guys, I'm hoping to get 1,000 subscribers very soon. And I believe you can help me do that. If you actually learned from the video, please do wait to subscribe. Peace.